Are you thinking about leaving California and moving to Colorado? Well, if so, you are definitely not alone. And today, I want to share with you the common, issues, misconceptions, things that pop up when they are making the move and navigating this process. And I want to share with you some things that I want you to be aware of and I want you to know before you start the process yourself. So make sure that you stay until the end of this video because I'm going to be sharing quite a bit of helpful information. And if you want help navigating this process, I would love to help you. Make sure that you reach out. All my information is right there. And then I do have a relocation guide, some different resources in the description for you. But without further ado, let's hop into the video. Okay, so let's talk about why people are moving from California. The number one reason why you are moving from California is you're probably looking for a different lifestyle. You might be somebody that simply just can't afford to even buy your first house in California, or you might be somebody that has quite a bit of equity in your property. And when you're looking at moving up to another home, the kind of home that you can get versus the home that you can get in Colorado is just not comparable. You might be somebody that doesn't necessarily want to be somewhere where it is so hot. You might want to have an actual winter and an actual spring, and you might want to be around a lot of trees that are going to change the colors in the fall, and you might just want a different pace of life. Colorado is also going to have a lot slower pace of life than California. California is definitely that city vibe, city lifestyle, whereas Colorado, it's definitely quieter, more chill, mountain lifestyle, even in the city. And Colorado is definitely going to be a place where, raising a family is going to be less expensive, buying a house is going to be less expensive, starting a career is going to be less expensive. If you are a young professional, it's going to be less expensive for you to live here. It's going to be less expensive for you to go to college. It's also going to have less congestion. And so if you're sick of the traffic, that might also be another reason why you are thinking about moving from California to Colorado. If you're thinking about making a move from California to Colorado, home prices can feel like a breath of fresh air, but it definitely depends on where you are looking. Compared to Orange County, San Diego, the Bay Area, Los Angeles, Colorado often offers larger homes, bigger yards, new construction, way more purchasing power, but Colorado also isn't cheap anymore. Colorado is also going to be pretty expensive. And so it's very important, even though that you're coming from one of the states that has the highest cost of living, it's still important that you do a budget, and it's still important that you understand how far your money is going to stretch in different areas, because Colorado still might not be the best place for you to live, even if you're coming from California, and it's important to have that conversation. So, home prices are often going to be way more affordable than what you're seeing in California, but compared to the national average as a whole, they are still going to be in, the top 5 places that are going to be the most expensive places to live in the country. So please understand this. Colorado is going to be less expensive than California, but it is still very expensive. Like I said, the weather is going to be another one of the reasons why people are moving to Colorado. And we do have 4 seasons that you do not get in California. We have the lower humidity, basically no humidity. We have way cooler summers, sunny winters. Snow usually melts very quickly. So even if you're not used to snow and you might not necessarily love the snow, it's not going to stick around. It's not going to stick around forever, which is pretty neat because you can enjoy the winter and the snow, but not necessarily be stuck in your house forever because you're snowed in, or not be able to drive because you don't know how to drive in the snow. And we also have, close to over 300 days of sunshine in Colorado. And so it's a really beautiful place. And a lot of people are constantly telling me that they are very happy to not be as wet, hot, and sticky as they were in California now that they live in Colorado. All right, so the altitude adjustment is real, and I was somebody that did not believe in altitude sickness. It is a real thing. Because you are coming from sea level, it is going to hit you. And you want to make sure that you are prepared. You want to be drinking enough water. You want to be taking electrolytes. You don't want to be drinking a lot because the alcohol is going to affect you a lot different than it does at sea level. And a lot of visitors underestimate it. They move here and they immediately start going on all of these 14ers and all of these hikes, and they get very sick. And so please understand that when you're moving from California to Colorado, there is going to be an increase in the elevation. It can potentially cause you to not feel too good for the first couple of weeks. And so it's a good thing for you to acclimate, for you to take it slowly, and don't do strenuous hikes. Do not do high elevation hikes. Do not go get yourself on a backpacking trip and get stuck on a high elevation, because it's actually pretty dangerous. So make sure that you understand this. You might not feel too good for the first couple weeks, but you will acclimate. You will start to feel better. And at that point, that's when you can start doing the hikes. All right, Colorado is much more, way more than Denver. So many people that I talk to say, we've always wanted to move to Denver. Denver is the number one goal. We've just always had it in our sights to move to Denver. And I say, what is attracting you about Denver? And they say, well, we really hate the city life and we want to be in the mountains. And Denver is not in the mountains. Denver is a city. There are so many different communities and cities around Denver that are also suburbs, very, very city. And then there's micro neighborhoods within those cities that feel like you are in the mountains. And so it's very interesting. It's important that you understand the lay of the land and the differences between these neighborhoods and cities. And it's important that you understand the difference between the east side of I-25, the west side of I-25, how the properties and prices differ the closer that you get to the mountains, how they differ the closer that you get to Wyoming versus the closer that you get to New Mexico. This is all very important. None of these areas are made up the same. Somebody is not going to find Fort Collins, Boulder, Denver, and Colorado Springs all as a good option. There's no way. They're so different, and there's so many different things, and they're truly not a good fit for everybody. And it's important that you understand what is attracting different people to different areas and why they are leaving those areas and why they're staying, and the potential for building a business, the potential for raising a family, the potential for incredible schools, the potential for access to incredible colleges, the potential for access to incredible recreation. All of that is important. And if you have questions and you want help navigating this state and figuring out where you should be focusing on, definitely reach out. I would love to help you. And then there's also a relocation guide in the description below that has a home search and really goes into the nitty-gritty of all these different areas. So if you want to kind of do some more digging before you reach out, definitely grab that link, take a deep dive, and reach out once you're ready. The traffic is going to be different. You are not going to get crazy California, LA traffic anywhere in Colorado, but Colorado is growing. There is a lot of traffic, and the infrastructure is really not where it needs to be to support it all. And so even though there's not as many people, there are oftentimes that there's certain areas, especially on I-25 during rush hour, that are going to take quite a long time for you to get where you need to be, because there's just a lot of people that are trying to get where they need to be. So it's not anything compared to California rush hour traffic. I wanted to scream. I think I did scream when I was driving over in California. That was awful. It was so crazy and so hectic. I'm from a small little mountain town. That was not good for me at all. So Colorado is definitely not going to be that busy, but it is still going to get pretty busy during rush hour, especially if you have a commute. This is important for you to know. And depending on where you live and where you're traveling to, it might take longer than you're expecting. Okay, something that you need to get prepared for is that being outside is going to become your new normal. And I hear from a lot of people that you are out, you're enjoying the ocean and you enjoy the shopping and like the palm trees and everything, but it's hot and it's humid and it gets exhausting doing that day in and day out. And so a lot of people in California tell me that they are used to spending quite a bit of their time indoors because of how hot and muggy it gets. And in Colorado, it's not like that. You can go enjoy hiking in the mountains and it be a cool 70 degrees and it's also dry. And so you do want to make sure that you have chapstick and lotion and everything, and water, but it's not hot and humid. And so get ready, because when you move to Colorado, you're going to be spending all of your time outdoors and just really loving everything that this state has to offer, because the weather is incredible and it makes it really easy to recreate in the state. Okay, the dry climate surprises everyone, and I talk about this constantly. People that are coming from Florida, from California, from places that are more humid are constantly talking about this. It's very dry, and so you notice when you do not have a cup of water with you in the vehicle, because you get cotton mouth and it's hard to speak and everything's all and I'll be late for a showing if I do not have chapstick in my pocket or in my vehicle, because your lips get cracked and they get so dry and it happens so quickly. Especially hiking, you want to make sure that you have chapstick and you have water. And so it is a very dry climate. You do feel it. I do have ashy elbows more than I would like to admit, but you just want to make sure that you are moisturizing and that you are hydrated, and it solves the problem. I want you to keep in mind that choosing the right city and choosing the right neighborhood within that city matters way more than you think. And it is always going to matter more than finding the perfect house, because if you are not happy where you're at, if you do not feel part of the community, if you are not where you want to be so that you can do the type of recreation that you want to be in, that you can live the type of life that you want to live, there's no reason for you to spend all this money and make all of these sacrifices and jump through all these hoops just to get it wrong and end up in the wrong area. And so please understand that it matters where you end up. If you are somebody that is relocating for work, the commute times matter. If you're somebody that is relocating to be close to those mountains, it matters that you are close to the mountains. If you're relocating so that your kids can be in great schools, it's important that you understand where those schools are. If you're relocating so that you can start a business, it's important that you understand where the best places are for you to start that business. If you are relocating so that you can start a family and build a family and thrive as a family, you need to understand the best neighborhoods and the best cities for you to do that. If it's important for you to travel, you need to understand the best places for you to live so that you are conveniently located to the airports. There's so many things that go into making a move, and there's even more things that go into making a successful relocation move. And I've done it. I've made so many mistakes, and I'm here to really make sure that you don't make those mistakes. And so if you want help figuring out where the best place for you to look is and where you should end up, here's the thing. All of my clients that I have worked with, I have said, you know what, based on everything that you have told me, I think that this area is going to be perfect for you. It ends up being perfect for them and they end up buying a house in that area. And so I'm good at what I do. I understand these areas and I can truly help save you time, energy, and money if you reach out to me and ask for help figuring out where you're supposed to be looking. Piggyback on that, that is the number one mistake that I see people that are relocating from California to Colorado make, and people that are relocating from anywhere to Colorado make. It's finding the house, finding the perfect, this freaking flies driving me insane. Oh my God. My goodness. My goodness. He's been taunting me for hours. It's okay. It's okay. The biggest. Oh gosh. The biggest mistake that I see people that are relocating from California to Colorado, and anybody that is relocating to Colorado make, is that you fall in love with this house, you buy the house, you move here, and you realize that the commute sucks, the location sucks based on who you are. You're nowhere near the mountains that you wanted to be near. You don't have the views of the mountains. You don't have the community that you want. You're not close to the nightlife, if that's what you care about. And you end up selling the property because it's not where you want to be. And we can avoid this. You can avoid this. You can save that time, save that money, save the energy by reaching out to me. So all of my information is right here. Make sure that you reach out. Also, make sure that you like, subscribe, hit that bell if this was helpful. I would love to hear from you, hear about your story, where you're coming from, where you're at in the timeline, and I want you to reach out because I want to help make this a successful move. So all of that to be said, if you're thinking about moving to Colorado from California, welcome. I can't wait to help you, and I will see you in the next video, and I cannot wait to see you here in person in Colorado. Until next time, bye.